Hi, in this video I am going to cover how I built this age ticker. This age ticker uses a concept called transition in case of VueJS, but I'm going to concentrate in this video on just the styling part, and then I'll move to the transition part because that involves the looking at the logic of the parent component. But now I am going to just cover the child component, which is this section, and even that uses the transition tag. Let's see that. Since I've already built this code, I am going to wipe it off completely and I am going to start from scratch. Like any child component, I have to pass data from its parent, so I have to have a script tag, and within the script tag, in this case, I need to have a define props macro, and the define props macro is what is used to pass data from the parent to the child component. So I know there are two properties that gets passed. One is label, and then the other one is the number. Be a number that's of type number. So this section is done, and now I have to concentrate on the template. I'll open the tag and close it, and then I'll also create a section for styling, and I'm keeping the style scope to this SFC, or the single file component, or the single file. So I close the style. So all as everything, we need a parent div tag. So parent div tag is where is the counter area. I'll call that as the class is called as, I'll call it as counter area, because it will have not only the counters but also the label in the bottom. So for the counter area, let's keep that very simple. We'll just specify the width, which is 90px, and then text align is center. So this is based on your preference. I think that this fits well for my counter, so, or the ticker. So I've used these specs, the width and the text align. So now that part is done. Now I have to go to the inner section where I actually start having my actual component. So this will be of this div will be of a relative div, and inside this I will position the absolute div, which will have my each of the individual counters. So this I have to specify overflow hidden, because this will give a slide in slide out effect. So I'll do that. I'll show what happens if I remove that once I build the whole thing. So now within this div class, I have to specify the transition element, which is of type a view style transition element. So this, you can specify name here. I'll just say ticker. So if you specify name here like as ticker, then you can specify classes which is relevant to this, and you need to have these classes. Enter from, and then you can specify, you have to specify leave to give that a smooth slide in slide out effect. Enter from, leave to. So now within this I have to specify transform and use the translate option to specify the x and y coordinates. In my case, it's going to be -50%, -100% for the enter from transform, but for leave to, the transform translate coordinates will become -50% and 100, because it's a vertical change that will happen when one number comes in, the other number moves out. So to give that effect, so now I have to specify the next style, which is leave active and enter active ticker, enter active. So this will actually hold the transition, which will tell how long the slide out will happen, the fade in fade out. So how long, if you keep it very low, like 1 second, it will be a slow movement. So I'm putting it at 0.5 seconds. You can add a semicolon here. I think the next line, this is where semicolon is important. I think I'll leave it there like that. And now what I will do is I can do the span tag that will have the individual counters, which is for day, month, year, and all that. So most important is key. This is a child element of transition, so it should have the key. Then only it will respect the styles that you give here, or the transition effect will be visible. So colon key equal to number. This is what it is holding. So I specify a number. So class equal to, because this will have the numbers, I can specify the color using tailwind CSS convention, text screen 700, and then because this is sitting within the parent tag, which is relative div tag, I'm putting this as absolute and top -0. So this will, the whole span tag will host my number, and then I will close the span tag here. Now outside this transition we have the div which has overflow hidden. So now I'll add another div that is, sorry, that's a span again, because it's sitting, the parent is div. If the parent is div, it's good to have a span. So I'm putting a span there, and that span will hold my label. I close the span, and then I say label, that's a property that's passed from the parent view component. Now to style this, I can say class equal to, I'll have padding pt is 2-2 pt-2 pb-2. Let's have it as block, because that will give a top-down effect in terms of adding the padding top and bottom of this particular span component. So now that is done, one of the other important things is for us to specify digits class. You can name it as ever you want, whatever you want, but I'm going with digits because it seems relevant to me. So inside digits, I have to specify one more transform to give an effect that it's a counter. So I have to specify the translate x of this as -50%. In other words, you can make the 0, because I don't want a translate y. So digits is in place, text screen is there. I have absolute top 0. Let me see what's happening in my front end. One thing, I have not specified the element is missing, end tag script. So let me check that. I didn't close the script tag, and then I have closed the template tag. Let me add an enter here. My style is also closed. Let me see what happens now in the front end. So I have something happening, but then I don't see the counters. So there is some styling that's missing. Overflow hidden is fine. So key is number, absolute top 0. I have not specified padding at this level. So let me try that. Padding top is 10. Let me see whether what happens with that. Yeah, there is some effect with that. So let me make it as let me increase the style of the digits. I mean, increase the size of the digits. Font size. Let me make it 2 rem based on my root element size, font size. Let me see what happens now. Let me refresh the page. Translate. I have some issue with my translate. Let me check what's there. I didn't add a semicolon probably, which is I always do this mistake. So semicolon is needed there. So let me check this. Yeah, that seems good. If you see, the counter is working fine. I can now show some of the issues that will happen if you don't add some of these styling. Like for example, if I remove this one or make this. Yeah, I'll completely remove this. Let's see what happens. You can see a wobbly effect. Actually, I've seen that happening. If you refresh, you can see a wobbly effect. That's because it's not in line at the x is not set, so that's why it's going out and coming in. That's the reason you have to specify at the digit level. Now if you totally don't specify overflow hidden, let's see what happens. As far as I have seen, it would not be again using the, yeah, so you can see that it's overflowing down, and that's a big issue. It doesn't look good. Yeah, it goes totally down. So that's the reason I specified overflow hidden at that level. And if you don't specify absolute here, let's see what happens. So yeah, that's the effect. It doesn't show a overlapping effect. It says stays side by side. So that's one of the issues. If you don't specify PT10 or the padding, I think it doesn't have the space to get even rendered. So that's one thing. Control Z. So I think I've covered most of the things, necessary things that is required for this styling. So I've used tailwind CSS and normal HTML styling. So hope this was helpful. In the next video I'll cover the logic side of how I implemented this counter age ticker. Hope this was useful. Thank you.